My name is Richard Mwebasa. I work with Britam Insurance. I am here to demystify the question, does car insurance pay? Greetings from Britam. Yes, surely car insurance does pay. Motor insurance or car insurance, the comprehensive and the third-party insurance, I would like to pose a question. Why are you working today? Or why do you wake up every morning and get to work? We all know very well that the reason the majority of us work is because we would like to get a comfortable lifestyle or a good opportunity to be able to provide for our families and our loved ones, among others. But also look at it from this perspective. As a provider of your family, if you have dependents or children, or you have people that look up to you for support, that is financial support, you would always want to have that guarantee that you can provide for them, and you'll be able to give them a quality lifestyle or a lifestyle that is reasonably comfortable for them. That said, I would pose another question. I do not think many of us may have savings up to a certain amount, say 50 million shillings, that you could say, I would spend out of this or provide, use that income or savings to give my family or my loved ones and maintain a comfortable lifestyle. What are you working for, if I should ask that question? What is your plan for your dependents? And do you have a contingency fund? Do you have savings somewhere, as I asked earlier? What's your plan for major hiccups, or what is the plan for any risks that could come uninvited or unprepared for or unexpected? Will your business outlive you if you're a small business owner, or if you even own a business entity? Can you depend on that business to be able to give you income or profits that can enable you provide for your family? On top of that, what is your legacy, or what will your legacy be when you pass on, and have you secured that legacy? All these are questions that we need to ask ourselves in life as we live that life. Now, why am I posing all these questions? Is to show you that with insurance, you will be able to get a response whereby we... Hello? With insurance, we can provide you a guarantee of compensation in the event you suffer losses. My question again would be, why the investment in an insurance policy? Why should I invest in an insurance policy? One, many of us spend socially on drinks, which is a good thing. We support family, or when there's a wedding for a relative, we would want to have an investment whereby we give them some contribution with expectation that we'll be, of course, in the event our turn comes, we shall be able to get some support from them. That may not necessarily be the case all the time. So I'll go back to this question. Does car insurance pay, or does motor insurance pay? I'm here to demystify that question and say yes, motor insurance does pay. Why are you working? Number one is to get a comfortable lifestyle for you and your family. And as the provider of your family, you would want to give them that quality life. Do you have savings on your bank account or kept somewhere up to 50 million shillings or more that you can look at in the event that there would be a problem? You would go and have this money give you and maintain that lifestyle. There are questions that come to mind when we talk about risk. One of them is, why are you working? As I asked earlier, what is your plan for your dependents or your children, if you have any, or you have people next of kin that you support, or friends? Do you have a contingency fund? Have you put up savings on the side that you can always live a fair and comfortable life? What is your plan for major hiccups or risks? Because risks are part of life and they come in uninvited. Anytime, any day. Do you have a backup plan somewhere that in the event there's a risk that strikes, you would be able to have a comfortable life? On top of that, will your business outlive you? Do you have a business that you can depend on, a business that you can touch those profits that you've earned within that year to be able to sustain you and give you a comfortable life? On top of that, what will your legacy be? When you pass on, what will you be remembered for? All these are questions that we should ask ourselves. Now, if I talk about insurance, insurance is one of the ways that you can be able to answer questions like this. By making an investment for your motor vehicle or any other assets that you would have that guarantee and assurance that in the event there's a loss, an insurance company is going to compensate you for the losses you suffer in exchange for what we call an insurance premium. Why the investment? Look at it from this perspective. Many of us spend socially on drinks, or we also contribute income, or we make contribution to our friends and families who are going to wed. And this is good because you're building up your social capital. But look at it from this perspective as well. In the event you had, say, your car, motor vehicle, have an accident, would you go to them and ask them for contributions to be able to repair your car? Or in the event your car is stolen, would you be able to pass the basket around to your friends and family? And they would they be able to provide or contribute income that would enable you purchase a new car? More certainly than not. On top of that, think about it from this perspective. In the event you're also injured in that car in an accident, you will have to spend medical bills where you pay a hospital to treat you. On top of that, you could have that car parked somewhere for some reason and say a tree falls on it, or you're driving normally in traffic jam and your car catches a fire and the fire raises it to ashes. Would you be able to raise the money for the investment that you've put in to be able to purchase a new one or make repairs? Now, what does insurance do for you? Insurance gives you that assurance and gives you that peace of mind that in the event there is a loss in form of an accident or there's a disaster, you can be guaranteed of compensation. So today I'll be sharing in detail what the comprehensive insurance package that Britam has in partnership with dfcu Bank can offer you and provide you. On top of that, we as Britam have made sure that we custom make a solution, or we tailor make a solution that will be relevant and fit for purpose for every car owner or motor vehicle owner out there. What do I bring on the table as Britam? Firstly, I would like to share, we have a motor comprehensive insurance policy, and this insurance policy covers or provides for loss, damage and destruction. I'll repeat that, loss, damage and destruction to the car as a result of an accident, and also covers damage to the car itself or the parts of the car, and also covers theft of the vehicle and theft of the parts. And on top of that is extended also cover what we call the third-party liabilities. If you will allow me just give more highlights about the third-party liability. We all are aware that the law requires us to, if you have any motor vehicle, the law requires you to have third-party insurance. Now, the Third-Party Act of 1989 came into force, where every car owner must have that policy. Firstly, we've always talked about the third party, and many questions come up. Who is the third party? Who is the first and second? Why are they called the third party? In this case, the first party is you, the client. In the event you take out a policy with us, Britam, you become the first party. The second party is the insurance company, in this context, Britam Insurance. And the third party would be that other person who is a road user, neither the insurance company nor you, the client. Any other road user could be a car owner or could be a pedestrian. And also the law or the act also qualifies and defines a third party as well as a fare paying passenger. If you're a passenger that pays a fare to a taxi or any other public means or of transport, you qualify as a third party. Now that said, the motor comprehensive has that extension in the policy that will cover any injuries and death that may arise to that other road user that your car as a client, if you took out the comprehensive cover or if you took up the third party, in the event there's an accident that you cause to any other road user, one, if there are injuries or there's death, we shall be able to compensate and pay the bills, medical bills as the insurance company, and as well in case someone passes on as a result of an accident, this insurance policy, the comprehensive insurance policy, will pick that up. On top of that, we have worked out an arrangement with DFCU, and by arrangement I mean we've worked out the scope whereby we are giving a limit for the death or injury per person, per event, up to a limit of 5 million shillings. And in aggregate would be the series of events that happen in the course of the year, because the insurance policy we have for comprehensive will run for 1 year. In the event there are a series of incidents, that's what we call the aggregate, where we'll get to pay up to a limit of 50 million shillings. Now, interestingly, with the comprehensive insurance, we also pay an extension called property damage. Within the statutory third party, the law says only pay or compensate for third parties for injury and death. However, the comprehensive policy that I'm talking about, here has an extension for property damage. In the event you take out a policy and you're a driver and you damage property, or you knock another car, or you swerve for some reason accidentally and you ram into someone's shop, the shop owner may expect compensation. So this property damage extension will pick that claim up to a limit of 10 million shillings. We get to pay out to you, our clients. On top of that, under comprehensive insurance, we have other extensions, and these extensions, we have arranged a scope of cover that would cover you for Uganda, but we can extend that policy to cover East Africa region for the right premium. On top of that, we also have enhanced the limits of the third party to 20 million per person, and also in aggregate up to 100 million in the course of the year. We also have an extension in the event there's an accident that you may incur, that you have towing expenses. You may get a tow truck or any car that gives towing services, that you need to move your car from the place of accident to the garage. So the towing expense or the fee that you pay to the towing company is still met by us under the comprehensive policy up to a limit of 5 million shillings. We also do have an emergency medical. I talked about this earlier. You could have an accident and you're injured. Now within that, you need to spend money to pay for treatment. You need to see a specialist or a doctor to be able to get you treated, to put you back to enjoying yourself. So the medical fee or the bill that you incur following an accident under your comprehensive policy is also covered, and we cover that up to an extension or limit of up to 3 million shillings. We also do emergency accommodation. Now this is quite unique with Britam. In the event you have an accident out of your town of residence, by town of residence we look at 60-kilometer radius from Central Business District, CBD, Kampala. In the event you have an accident, we give you an option of having to spend 2 nights in any hotel of your preference, and the medical bills are reimbursed by Britam up to a limit that we may agree upon as a benefit to you. What is also important is our scope of cover with the DFCU Bank. It also provides for loss of personal effects, Sometimes you may have an accident and you become uncautious. And by the time you wake up, you've lost some items or accessories in your car. Or, for example, you may have that expensive suit, or for ladies, you may have that very nice handbag, Prada, or have a Gucci dress that you hold dearly. And because of the accident, that dress or that suit is damaged. And when you're taken to hospital, of course, before they give you treatment, they have to bring scissors and cut and destroy the suit. So we're saying if you lost any personal effects, we shall be able to compensate up to a limit of 2 million shillings. Our policy, Motor Comprehensive, also covers an extension for political violence and terrorism risk. Now, in the event that your car is destroyed or damaged as a result of political violence and terrorist acts, this policy is going to be able to compensate. It will pick up that claim and will be able to pay back. If you will allow me, just give you a scenario of the premiums, or what do you pay. For an example, suppose for an option of your car, if you had a car that is 100 million shillings, annually, because our premiums are paid for 1 year or 12 months, with taxes, all taxes included in the premium that you pay, you get to pay about 4.76 million shillings. And that is premium that you pay to us at the inception of the policy, and then you will enjoy your life throughout that year and enjoy your car. In the event any of the perils I mentioned earlier, accidental or theft, would be able to compensate. If you translate that into dollar terms, that is about $1,356. Now, for option 2, for a scenario where you have a car that is valued at 50 million shillings, you get to pay, all taxes inclusive, about 2.4 million shillings. And that is premium for 1 year. I'll repeat that, that's premium for 1 year or annual premium. That translates to about $684. For an option of your car that is costing about 25 million, you get to pay 1.2 million, about $348 US dollars per year, to be able to have guarantee of compensation from Britam Insurance. Something I would like to add on the cover, this cover also covers or provides compensation to you in the event your car is damaged as a result of a storm. It's rainy season now in Uganda, so a wind can throw down a tree or a branch that shatters your windscreen and glass, or shatters or damages your car. That is compensated. In the event there are floods that sweep your car, and that car of course accidentally is damaged, we'll be able to of course compensate you as well. And on top of that, our policy also covers riots, strikes, and commotion in the event your car is damaged as a result of those perils. If you will allow me, many times we always share with clients that insurance will not pay or does not provide compensation for all perils. They are what we call exclusions, or what we do not pay for. Once you take out that comprehensive policy, you'll be guaranteed that in the event there is any of the perils I earlier mentioned, you would be compensated by Britam. But in the event that it so happens that any of the exclusions that I will mention shortly occur, that means your policy does not pick them up, and you will not be compensated or guaranteed of compensation. One of them is war and related perils. We do not provide insurance for war, and war is a standard exclusion for all major policies, non-life insurance policies. We do not pay in the event there is a war. You will not have compensation from us. 2, we have what we call the intoxication clause. The intoxication clause in your motor policy is when you drive under the influence of alcohol. We usually have this joke where we say that unless otherwise you can prove that you had been asked by the doctor where he prescribed alcohol to you to drive that car. But otherwise, the law does not allow any car owner to drive, drink and then drive. So in the event that we find that you were driving under the influence and caused an accident, we will not be able to pay that claim. In addition to that, of course, we also have what we call the young, inexperienced drivers clause. Under this, we provide the comprehensive for you, but we usually cost the risk depending on the experience of the driver. How long have you held a driving permit? In the event you are found to not have had a valid driving permit and you're driving, we will not be able to pay, because we would want you to have that driving permit that is legit and that is valid for us to guarantee that we'll be able to pay you who are legally authorized to drive a motor vehicle. We also have scenarios where clients do not declare the right price or the right cost of the car because they expect to spend less on the premium. Now, in the event there's underinsurance, we call that underinsurance, we may not be able to pay and compensate you in the event we found that you undervalued your vehicle. Why? Because you are remitting to us a premium that is less than the adequate. So this would make the policy to some extent avoidable. Theft by own employees for corporations or for organizations. Theft by own employees, this would be categorized as a risk for own theft. There's another policy or insurance product that would cover or take on a risk like that, which we call fidelity guarantee. I'll focus mainly on the motor insurance, the comprehensive, that's what we're talking about. So we'll not pay in the event you're an employee if you had any stole the car. Loss, consequential loss or loss of any kind, mechanical breakdown or depreciation is not also covered. So because why? We expect, because insurance or insurable risks have to be fortuitous in nature. By fortuitous, they have to be uncertain. Depreciation is expected. You have a car, you know, after a year or two, this car is going to depreciate. Mechanical failure. Mechanical failure, to demystify this, is whereby your car fails to start in the morning. Naturally, it's a machine. It's going to have what? It's going to break down at one point for some reason. But just to put that clear, only and only would we compensate if there is an accident or there is loss that happens as a result of accidental means. Now, drawing the line would be in a scenario, for example, if you hit a pothole and, of course, your brakes failed to function, that means the car will swerve and probably would roll or even hit a wall. That would be, what we look out here for is the cause, proximate cause, in this case being an accident, the pothole that you hit that caused the mechanical failure. But the regular mechanical failure, my car key cannot start, that's not accidental in nature. That would not be paid for in the policy. Going into the claims procedure, because this is where the rubber meets the tarmac, I'll just share this about Britam. We pride ourselves in ensuring that we deliver the very best of service. And that's the only time where you get to test who an insurance company is in terms of service. Now, when you're logging a claim or you're lodging a claim, the moment you take out your policy from dfcu Bank, you can be able to report to dfcu Bank as well, and then they will transfer that claim intimation to us. But the process is quite very simple. One, in the event that you notify dfcu Bank, because that's where you would have taken the policy from, dfcu Bank will notify us as well, and then we would immediately be able to respond within 24 hours, requesting you for additional information. We acknowledge your claim intimation through your banker, dfcu Bank, and we will be able to request the officer at dfcu Bank for additional information. Usually, the process is quite simple. We request that you fill in a claims form usually about 2 pages, giving us details about the incident of the loss. And once that is filled in and returned to us, we'll be able to advance and progress from that level. There's additional information that would require on case by case. I may not go into the specifics now, but in general, the moment you return a signed claims form to us, we issue what we call a discharge voucher. Now, the discharge voucher usually is, we reissue it to you through the bankers not later than 48 hours from the time we receive your returned claim form. Now, within the discharge voucher, we make you an offer to say that your loss is up to this extent and this is the offer, the claim amount that Britam Insurance is going to pay back to you. Once that happens, after you sign off acceptance of that discharge voucher and return the discharge voucher to us, we'll be able to issue and pay that claim and within 7 working days. And I said within, the word within would mean between immediate and not more than 7 working days. Now, once that is done, would be good to put a smile on your face that you made that good investment in taking out a policy with Britam Insurance. Documents that are usually required, I'll just give you key highlights on the major documents we require. I'd mentioned earlier, would require a claims form filled in by you, the client, and returned to us. In insurance, we have what we call subrogation rights. Why? Because one of the key principles of insurance is indemnity. We would want to put you back where you were before the loss occurred. If you remember the example I shared of the car, 25 million shillings. In the event you had a loss, we would want to compensate you and take you back to the 25 million shillings. Nothing more than 25. So because of that, in the event there's a loss, we would expect, if it is a total loss, say the salvage is transferred to us, or if we're going to compensate you for the claim in full, we would expect that you transfer to us the logbook as Britam, because we are exercising our subrogation rights. So that would be required for write-offs. On top of that, photographs of the accident for the damaged parts. Sometimes it may be a partial loss. Say you have a dent, either the bumper, or you have a dent at the front, or your light is damaged or light is stolen. We need you to share photos, or we could send our risk inspector to take photographs for our file. Then we also require that you give us 2 comparable quotations from your preferred garages or preferred service provider, so that we may be able to discharge the claim. Then in incidents where the accident occurred on a public road or where there's an incident, say, of a theft, would require that you provide us with a police report, or what we call a police abstract, that outlines the detail of the scenario of the accident, and that is usually one of the major requirements we need for, especially for the accidents and thefts. Then we also require you give us a copy of the driving permit or driving license, and we hope that it is valid and authentic for us to be able to pay the claim. And then for third parties, we always require that you give us a demand note. Remember, I mentioned who is the first party is, the second and third. So for the third party, remember, this is not a person. It is not you, the client, who's taken out the comprehensive policy claim. It is the other party you knocked. So we usually would want that through you, submit a demand note to us, and demand note could be written, most certainly written by them, saying that the extent of my damage is, say, 1 million shillings or 500,000 shillings, for us to be able to discharge the third-party claim. Then for third-party claim, we would also need to get a copy of the ID or identification, national ID or valid authentic identification, so that we can be able to advise further. Thank you very much. I think that wraps it up for the comprehensive. I will dive into the questions. We already have a number of questions. The first question comes in from Mabirizi David, and is asking, we're always forced to pay third-party insurance by government, but never sure how we benefit from it. How do I, as a motorist, benefit from it because I have never claimed? Very interesting question and nice question. The second question he raises is, what does your comprehensive insurance cover and what are its conditions for commercial cars? And lastly, he's asking, how long does it take to compensate for a lost vehicle in any form of accident? I think the third and second question, I'd answered them, but I'll just give in summary key highlights. Starting from the top, he's saying third party, why, and he's not sure how to claim. I think I just went through that, through the claims process. In the event you take out a third party from Britam or comprehensive insurance and there's a third party claim, all you have to do is notify us through dfcu bank so that they may be able to give you forms you fill in. The process is very simple, and as I'd mentioned earlier, the third party extension under your policy for comprehensive will cover you for the body injury or death that you cause to any other road user, and also will cover the property damage. In the event you damage property, a car or any other property, the claim would be admissible. So you would have to notify your bank at DFCU, then we'll be able to advise. Secondly, what is covered under comprehensive? I went through this quite at length. The scope of cover: damage, loss, damage and destruction due to accident, theft of parts, theft of the car, including damage to political risks, where we have also extensions that include accommodation following an accident, towing charges and expenses. So I went through the whole scope of comprehensive cover in detail. How long does it take to compensate in the event you had an accident? From the time that you notify us and the time that you fill in a claims form and we issue you a discharge voucher and you return it to us, not more than 7 days. I said within 7 days you will be compensated. Question number 2 comes in from Roland Biabagaba. He has 2 questions. There he's saying, what exactly is third party and how can a motorist take advantage of these mandatory payments they make for it? Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is similar. I'd mentioned about third party. The event you have a loss, all you have to do is notify us and we shall be able to give you a claims form that you will be able to submit. However, just to clarify, under third-party insurance, you, the policy owner, are not necessarily the direct beneficiary. This is covering the liability that attaches as a result of you causing an accident to any other road user. The process I'd explained in detail in the prior question. Question number 2, as a non-car owner, does any of the different types of insurance protect us, pedestrians that might be collateral in accidents? Now, under the comprehensive, unless someone has a comprehensive policy, your property would be covered under the property damage extension. However, if the motorist or the car owner has only third-party insurance, then the policy would only pick out, if it's statutory third-party insurance, not comprehensive, will only compensate for death as a result of an accident and body injury. And by body injury, the treatment and the compensation for the injuries. Question number 3 comes from Brian Kalunji Chibidige, and his question is, taking comprehensive cover, what exactly is covered in this policy? I had gone through this quite at length, the comprehensive package, so I will skip to the next question. Do you think good motorists should be rewarded after a certain time of cover? Now, apparently, something I didn't mention is that we are a tariff-based market, and by tariff-based market, we have a regulator, that's the Insurance Regulatory Authority. They have issued what we call minimum rates, and we have to comply to those minimum rates. Now, every charge that we give for comprehensive cover is net of a discount. I think if I pick the question correctly, Brian, your question is, would you get a reward after maybe a couple of years insuring with us? The answer is unfortunately not. What will guarantee you is good a good experience, a customer experience, in terms of when you have that loss or when that rainy day comes and it finds you prepared with comprehensive, you're guaranteed of compensation. Your other question is, do you think we need a new law on motor insurance? Well, there's been discussion through the industry. By industry, I mean the insurers, through the Uganda Insurers Association, where we are a member as well, Britam, where they've been talked to improve or better the law, because the law was enacted in 1989, then says 1 million for per event and 10 million in aggregate. So there's been talk to see how to amend. I know there's something being discussed in Parliament, and hopefully once that is approved, the law will be amended to capture a number of stakeholder questions and stakeholder issues. Question number 4 comes from Mugisha King Brian. Tell me about comprehensive motor insurance. What packages are available? Can I make payments monthly or it has to be a year? I've already talked about the comprehensive insurance, but I like this question because Britam just rolled out a very unique solution. And by solution, I mean on top of the third party, statutory third party, you can access our solutions at any Vivo Shell centers or come to our offices or any of our satellite offices across Central Business District and any part of the country where we are in Mbale, in Gulu, Arua, Lira, in Entebbe Road, where you can access our services, including Ginger, by taking out what we call a windscreen and glass cover. On top of the third party, we've just rolled out recently, a couple of days back, a windscreen and glass cover. So that's another option for you, and I know very soon dfcu will be able to have that in the event you needed that. But also about the payment for your premium, yes, the policies run for 1 year annually. We would always expect you to pay your premium upfront. Why? Because the amendment of the Insurance Act provides for cash and carry, whereby if you want to take out an insurance policy, you should be able to pay. However, you can have a conversation with dfcu Bank. They have facilities, what they call Insurance Premium Finance, IPF, where they can arrange for you monthly payments. They remit the full premium to us, and then they give you a package that is very friendly in terms of pricing from them, where you can be able to pay on a monthly basis up to a maximum of 10 months. The other question comes in from Shelly Namata, and the question is, does the cover pay for injuries as well? Yes, I had mentioned this. One, the insurance package we have for comprehensive will cover the third party, but you, the car owner as well, would pay the medical fee. However, with dfcu, for an extra or an additional premium, we can arrange for you what we call an extension of personal accident. In the event you're injured or you break a leg in the accident, we can provide that extension on your policy, comprehensive policy, so that you are guaranteed. But by and large, the basic policy would cover the medical fees or expenses for your medical bills, and also cover the other person that you injure or passes on as a result of an accident, who is called the third party. A question comes in from Michael Lubowa. Does this cover for only third party accidents or others too? What is the difference? I think I've gone through this quite a lot in the previous question. Yes, motor comprehensive will cover both. You, the driver or the owner, and also will cover the third party. In this case, the road user or the fare paying passenger. There's a question coming in from Lillian K. Bakorahe. Which is the best policy for the car and driver or occupants? The best policy here is comprehensive. This will cover the driver or the car owner, and will also cover the occupants. Now, what is important to note is with dfcu as well, you may ask, where do family members come in? You may have your own private car. The third party, I didn't mention, the third party does not categorically qualify them as your family members or friends that may occupy your car and are not paying a fare per se. And our policy will have an extension for what we call occupiers liability and this policy we can limit it to a certain agreeable limit that will be placed through your bank at DFCU, whereby your family members can also be encompassed within the cover. To be honest, your question as well, Lillian, is, to be honest, I don't know anything about motor insurance. I just pay for third party. Yes, today I would be glad if you could consider taking on comprehensive insurance, because it will guarantee that that investment of your 50 or 25 million or 15 million that you put in is guaranteed of compensation in the event of accident or thefts. The other question comes in from Gatare Florencio. As soon to be a car owner, I would like to know about motor insurance and how it works. I just detailed that previously. I've been talking about comprehensive, I think, and I presume you've been listening in and have picked what I've shared. Nakasuja Daisy, question number 1, what should I look for when buying car insurance? Now, one of the key issues that you want to look out for, Daisy, is one, your insurance provider, can they or are they going to be able to pay your claim and put that smile on your face in record time? I can guarantee you Britam is ready to do that and has been providing very, very world-class quintessential insurance solutions to a number of corporate and individual customers. So come talk to us through DFCU Bank and we'll give a solution that will wow you and will leave a smile on your face. How long does it take to get an insurance quote? You will get an insurance quote in the event you come to DFCU Bank in not more than 3 hours. I'll repeat that, not more than 3 hours. You'll have an insurance quote delivered to you. How can one insure multiple vehicles? Yes, we do insure fleets. You may have 2 or more vehicles, or you may be an organization and you want to take comprehensive insurance. All you have to do is engage DFCU Bank and they can give you a solution. We can give you a proposal that covers fleets very adequately and you'll be sorted. Sandra Teza is saying, is there a difference between motor insurance and third party? Yes, there is. I'd explain that in detail. Derek Kabuye says, are there different insurance plans for special motor cars, for example, racing cars, tourist cars, ambulances? Yes, so there are plans that are there for special or specialty motor vehicles. Ambulances are covered. Racing cars are covered on case by case, depending on the values and depending on the trade of business. And tourist cars, yes, you may have a fleet of tour vehicles. We provide insurance for these cars as well. Let's start that conversation. Come to DFCU, engage them, and they'll give you a custom-made solution through Britam. We do have a question from Kakumba Elisa, and that is, how does this enhanced insurance differ from the normal third-party insurance? Yes, the enhanced cover has been designed specifically to meet special needs or specific needs. The third-party insurance is pre-locked. Third-party, as I mentioned earlier, is for body injury and death, and per event is 1 million statutory and 10 million for aggregate or series of claims that happen in the course of the year. Meaning that if there's a claim that happens where there are 2 or more parties involved, the 10 million will be payable to all those number above 2 people. If it's 1 person, not more than 1 million shillings. So the comprehensive cover has been detailed, and we have given the responses appropriately. Kaka Julius is asking, if I'm having a car, let's say UAK, got an accident and it's in insurance, do you give me back UAK or new number plate at that moment? Now that's interesting. Well, what happens is we will compensate you for the value, because every motor vehicle has a value attached to it. What we will guarantee you as Britam, in the event this is a total loss, we will be able to compensate and pay back to you the amount that you lost in the accident. We may not necessarily give you the UAK exactly, but we shall compensate the value of the UAK that you insured before the loss did occur. The other question is coming in from Keith Mogarula. Why are there no cashback policies in Uganda as compared to other countries? Don't you think I should be rewarded for my good driving and not spending any insurance money? Now, as I mentioned earlier, we work in a tariff-based market where we have minimum rates, and the rates that are issued by our regulator are net of discounts. A couple of years back, we used to issue what we call no-claim discounts, but because of the tariff that was passed, we don't give a cashback in Uganda, and the law does not allow us to do that. However, what we do is ensure that we give you the best service at the time when you have a claim. David Karachire is saying, as a matter of due diligence, isn't it the obligation of the insurer to have the car being insured assessed or ascertain true value before a premium is set to prevent underinsurance? Very great question. Now, usually in insurance, we look at market value for insurance. What would this car fetch on the open market at that material time before you are insured? Now, I know sometimes it may be a challenge to ascertain the actual market value, but we usually work with estimates, usually plus or minus. You know very well if you bought a car from a car bond, the moment it's driven out, a minute after you take it back, it has already lost value. So we would go for the average market price for the cover. However, there are also policies, especially for fleets, that we can take out on a grid value basis. A grid value basis where we get a professional valuer who looks at the car, looks at the condition, looks at the make, the model, the age, the performance of that vehicle, and comes out with a valuation report that we base on to insure. But that is a cost that is usually borne by you, the client. And from experience, most times not many would want to incur that extra cost to ascertain the value. But if you did, it would be very good to have that as a basis of insurance as well. Thank you very much. I think all the questions are done. I am very glad and grateful that we've had a good session today. Thank you very much. We'll call upon you to come and engage dfcu Bank and also talk to them and talk to Britam for us to be able to give you insurance solutions. If you'll allow me, just share with you who Britam is. In summary, we are licensed by the Insurance Regulatory Authority. We operate in 7 countries, that's Uganda, Kenya, South Sudan, Rwanda, Tanzania, Malawi, and Mozambique. And we are licensed to underwrite non-life or general insurance solutions. We recently attracted the World Bank through the investment arm IFC that acquired about 10.37% stakes in the group. And a couple of months back also had a special purpose vehicle comprising of the German Development Bank, the Netherlands Development Corporation, and Propaco FMO that acquired 14.3 stakes. And recently, about 2-3 months ago, Swiss Re, world's #2 reinsurer, that acquired